This is a critique for Chad, John, and Joseph. Let me start with you, Joseph. Nice work overall. You've got, let's see here. You've got a analogous hue shift. Let's see, this color is not as saturated as this one, and this one is also lighter in value than this one. And similarly over here, you've got two different hues. One is more saturated and darker than the other. Then your high key values are high in key, and I really love these neutrals that you get, these sort of light grays in the center, really quite beautiful. And then your low key is low in key, so nice work overall. And John, on to you. I'm curious, you said in your intro that color sort of scares you. I'm curious why? Why does color scare you? Smiley face. Just out of curiosity. I mean, you've done a very good job. Your presentation is very clean, and you have a clear idea of what's a warm color, what's a cool color. A couple things I would like you to fix on in a revision. First of all, push the saturation shift in analogous. So what do I mean by that? So in both of the analogous scales, I see one highly saturated color, two highly saturated colors, right? One highly saturated, another highly saturated. So I want to see more than like just a few point shift between the two of them. One color can be highly saturated, but I'd like to see the other color in this set be not as saturated. So, maybe that could be making one a tint. Maybe it's making one a shade. Maybe it's making one a tone. But I want to see one color in both this set and also this set be less saturated than the other. And then my other comment was push key shift between warm and cool. What do I mean by that? Well, both the warm and the cool, or both the high key and the low key seem to have an equal amount of high and equal amount of low key colors. And the idea here, so if I convert this to grayscale, I can see that each of these has a very dark color and each of these has a very light color, making neither one feel particularly higher in key or lower in key than the other. So what we want to see is the high key be undeniably high in key or light in value, right? Like something like that would do the trick. And we want to see the low key interval be undeniably dark in value or low in key. So, making one of the colors darker would do the trick. So that's what I mean by pushing the key shift between the warm and the cool colors. Now lastly, Chad, really strong warm to cool scales. So my comment to you is kind of similar to my comment to John, whereas for him, I wanted John to work on the value shift. Oh wait, John, I wanted to work on the saturation shift. I want you to work on the value shift. That's always a little, it looks like I had another note for you, which was I was fascinated by your system of recoloring these, but I was having trouble visualizing it. So if you could explain your system in a bit more detail about using the duplicate layers, I'd love to hear. But anyway, back onto my comments. If I convert this to grayscale, I can see that there's really not a meaningful value shift here. And here there's really not a meaningful value shift either. So I want to see one color be lighter or darker than the other. So, that could be, taking this unsaturated green and making it a bit darker, or it could mean taking this unsaturated blue and making it, and I just realized something very important that I totally overlooked. Your work on the temperature of the warm analogous scale. This green is not warm. If we look on the color wheel, or if I look at the HSB sliders, I forget if you were one of the people who might have had some slight color blindness, or maybe you didn't, maybe you just misunderstand. But you know, anything in sort of the red, magenta, yellow, orange range is considered warm, and then anything in sort of the green to blue range is considered cool. So in terms of numbers, anything from like 50 on the H scale over to 0, and again from 60 over to, I don't know, 275 is warm, and anything between those values is cool. So we want to see this color not be green, but actually be either orange or yellow or red or magenta. You know, something like what I've just colored it is more of a warm color. You know, something like that is more of a warm color. So you want to work on the value shift of the analogous scales and then also the temperature of the warm analogous scale. So I'll leave it there and let me know if you have any questions.